Well, hello. How's it going? You must be here for the 50,000 subscriber tour. I made a deal a long time ago that if I hit 50,000 subscribers, I'd do another house tour. And on December 31st, 2019, I hit 50,000 subscribers. Last time I did it as a live stream, and it took like an hour. I'm planning on this being a bit shorter. Not a lot of things have changed since last time, but a few have, so it'll be fun. Here we go. All right, first thing we have here is my very first smart switch install. This is still BHOnofre Basic wrapped in electrical tape. Still not a way that I would recommend you do it, but that's the way I did it, and it's still in there. It's been over 2 years now and hasn't burned down the house yet. Before too long, I'm going to replace this with the BHOnofre because I can do 2 BHOnofres in here and control both switches. Plus, I'll be able to put in like a temperature sensor and motion sensor. So someday. It's cold outside. All right. So in here to the left, we've got old-fashioned light switches. Nothing smart about those. Over there in the corner, you can see one of the knights. Maybe you can see that his eyes are glowing. That's because that's a Raspberry Pi Zero camera in there, right where his visor is. And it makes it look like he's got eyes, which is pretty cool. But the Raspberry Pi Zeros as cameras, not great. Wouldn't recommend those. I thought it'd be a good idea, but it didn't end up being that great. The only other thing that matters probably is that there is an Echo Dot in there. And we've got Echo Dots. Maybe we'll have to run a count. But there's one there, and that's because the kids sit there sometimes and play Xbox. So there's one in there for them to hear when we're making announcements. That's been the best part of those. All right, in here, we've got old-fashioned thermostat with a piece of gum wrapper in there. But it's actually not working at all. This is what I'm using instead. This is the Xiaomi Zigbee temperature sensor, and then this is feeding back to Home Assistant through the Conbi 2 and Decons. So that's how we're doing our thermostats all around the house. Over here, we've got a Blink camera, which is okay, but needs to be replaced. They work fine, they just don't refresh that often. I've never really set them up to do a lot of recording, so they're just okay. This is where the thermostat was over here, but I replaced that as well, or at least I took it out. This is a fan that just runs an air filter downstairs, and I actually don't have anything hooked up to this switch because what I have is a BHOnofre just on an extension cord that's running this fan with the filter, with the air filter in it for the house. So that's that. Here we go, on through here. Oh, I should say Mrs. Z's is not home, and if she sees that the house was messy at all when I recorded, I'll be in trouble. So eyes up here, don't look at any of the mess. Okay. Okay, I'm pretty proud of this little guy. This is one of those HA switch plates made by Luma, or at least designed by Luma, and he did all the work to make it so these buttons send MQTT messages to Home Assistant and make things happen. Up here at the top is controls for the shades in the mountain room. I'll show you in a minute. And then button 3, 4, and 5 don't have any function on them at all right now. This bedtime is a button that when we press it, it sends a message to all the Amazon Echoes that tells everybody it's time for bed. So brush your teeth, get your pajamas on, and come up to Dad's office for bedtime routine stuff. Over here, we've got a button that will turn the outside LEDs on and off. So if I hit that, it'll turn all those LEDs on. Hit it again, it'll turn them all off. And then this all off button will turn off a whole bunch of things in the house. I've got a whole list of things that it'll turn off, like I can't remember all the things honestly, but it'll turn off a whole bunch of stuff in the house. So basically we don't have to run around the house and check that everything's off. If we just hit that button, it all goes off. There are other things you can do here, weather and such, and then it can be an alarm panel. Put in the code to arm it or disarm it. And then this is Mom's, because this is what I set up for Mrs. Z's, because those were things that I knew she wanted to do, and she doesn't always like fumbling with her phone, and they're not always easy things to tell Amazon Echo what to do. So I set that up for her. And it's right here in the living room, so it's easy to get to. Moving on. This is the master bedroom where the magic happens. Okay, this is kind of a mess, but it's the same actually as it was last time. So another thermostat that is not working. It's disconnected from everything. Another Xiaomi temperature sensor here. I just set that one there. I haven't even stuck it to the wall yet. This is the old alarm panel, which is just still here. I haven't disconnected it. I could anytime. Speaker control system, which I want to replace, and I still haven't. And an Amazon Echo that is actually wired to the speakers in the ceiling. It needs an amplifier though. It's pretty low volume, so it needs an amplifier. And I got an amplifier, which I just haven't installed yet. Haven't tried yet, but that's the plan. And then this is good old-fashioned BHOnofre touch with 3 switches. This one controls the lights, the fan, and then there's an extra one here, which doesn't go to anything right now. There it is. And then this temperature sensor works and doesn't work. So that's why I've got this one in here, because I kept not getting input from this. And I don't know why. And then of course we've got the crown molding stuff is still up, still doing its magic. Still looks really nice. Moving on. Whole bunch of light switches here which need to be smartized. None of them are just yet. One of them controls fireplace, ceiling fan, 3 or 4 different light things up here. So that needs to be smarted, but it hasn't been yet. Then we've got the curtains, and these are all down obviously right now. Mrs. Z's uses them every day. She puts them up and puts them down every day. The wiring is horrible. I'm lucky. Mrs. Z's is very forgiving of those things, and she doesn't get after me about how the wiring looks. It bothers me more than it bothers her. So that's just something I need to get to and fix that is on the list, and who knows when I'll actually get to it. Needs a little bit of rework on how I do those sensors. But overall, like I said, we use them every day. So that's still something I'm very happy that I did. I just want to do it a little better. I'm going to go back over here and turn on all the LEDs for a second. And then, yeah, now you can see up there at the top, up above there, I put a strip of WS2812s and a Node MCU running WLED. It's just a nice effect to have. All right, what else? Moving along here. Back here, we've got we've got the Echo Show. In here, we've got another one of the original Sonofs in duct tape, or in electrical tape still. Speaker box, which I really want to connect an amplifier that the kids can plug their phone into or connect to Bluetooth, because this one goes to the speakers outside, and the girls really like to turn those speakers on and go outside and jump on the trampoline and dance and things. So I really want to put a different amplifier here so that they can just plug a phone or something into it. Oh, what else? Oh, here's the smart lock. All right, this is my ultra lock. I'm not going to go outside and do the outside part tonight because it's freezing cold out there. Another amplifier. This has been our hub, but see what happens every time there's an announcement, it goes to this page, and I've got to go back to this every time there's an announcement. So that's unfortunate. But this is still HA dashboard. I've been using this same setup forever. I haven't changed it in a while, so there's some entities that don't exist anymore that I haven't changed, but still getting traffic, time. All right, well, there's that. Some exciting stuff here. Now, this is the main bathroom. Oops, I shouldn't even have touched it. But this is the main bathroom that most people use when they come over. Company and such, it's right off the kitchen. In here is BHOnofre with one that controls the fan, one that controls the light and motion sensor, and the logic or the automation for making the motion sensor turn on the lights is inside the BHOnofre through ESP Home. So that works really well. And then this black wire here is just because I had these waterproof Dallas temperature sensors, and that's what I decided to hook up to this. I got some comments about that on the video, like, are you kidding me? Do you really just run that black wire, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, I did. Again, Mrs. Z's is pretty forgiving. I would like to make the temperature sensor just be a dot here for others. I'll do that for others. This is an RF sensor on the toilet seat. And that turns on the air freshener over here. Still works. Still love it. And then this, if there's no motion in the bathroom for, I can't remember how many minutes, the light goes off. And then over here is the mud room, which is the room where the kids come and drop all their book bags and stuff. And it should, yep, there it goes, turns on with just motion. And it also is a BHOnofre in there. Works great, love it. And it has a touch sensor, so you can turn it off that way and turn it on that way if it doesn't turn on with the motion. But it's been pretty reliable with the motion. Another BHOnofre running ESP home. This one we use every day a lot as well. The garage door has, I don't remember what brand of switch this is, but it's some Tasmatized switch, and it's got a sensor so that it turns on the lights in the garage when I open the door. And that sensor is just through our alarm system that was wired in the house. So it's got a little sensor down here. So the sensor for the garage and for a lot of the other doors are wired sensors like this. And these go down to the alarm panel where we have the connected alarm panel. That's what's connected here. Now we're out in the garage, we have more cool stuff to see. So up here, yeah, you can't tell, but those are LED lights in there. They're just strips of white LEDs, but I replaced all the fluorescent bulbs. I got tired of doing the fluorescent bulbs, changing them out. So that's what I did. Put those strips of LEDs up there. Cheapest strips I could find, but they still work pretty well. That is our sprinkler box, and it is not smart at all. But someday, maybe, it will be. Okay, up here, now, this is Mrs. Z's garage door. This is the one she comes through. And up there, right there, that is a reed switch, so just a magnetic switch. And the magnet is on the end of that guy up there. So when the garage door opens, it triggers that, and it tells me that the garage door is open or closed in Home Assistant. But then we also have the little eyes right there. Those little eyes are an ultrasonic sensor, and they're pointing down so I can know if there's a car here or not. Based on the distance that it reflects back, it'll show up as a car being here or not being here. So that is the version 3 of the garage door opener, which is a BHOnofre SV running ESP home with the reed switch and the ultrasonic sensor. So very happy with that. Been working well. We do have a fridge alarm here. So when this one's opened, I get a notification, or we know that the fridge is open. That way, if somebody leaves the fridge open out in the garage, there's no alarm on this one inside the house. The other one inside the house has an alarm, plus people see it. So that gets closed a lot easier. But the one out here doesn't get closed if somebody leaves it open. We'll talk about the bug in just a minute here. Up here, we've got another motion sensor. This is just an RF sensor from BHOnofre. It works with the RF bridge, which has Tasmota on it. And I use that to turn the lights on too, and keep the lights on. If that doesn't detect motion for some number of minutes, then it will turn the lights off in the garage. And sometimes that works against me. I'm working in the garage. If I'm not moving enough, or if that doesn't pick me up, turns the lights off on me, and I got to get up and dance around. Fans, because it gets hot out here, and they're both on little smart switches. Little fan there, little fan there, and a little smart switch that it's plugged into. Got the old reliable here, my good old 2012 Leaf, my juice box eMotorworks charger. I don't think it's eMotorworks anymore. I think they got bought by somebody else. And then the baby, my bug. 1970. I took the fenders off just because I started sanding it and stuff when I couldn't get the motor working. But then I got the motor working. I haven't gone back to the body yet, but sometime I will. That is the motor right there. So I need to take it off still and lube up the coupling, and then put it back on with a few more spacers and stuff here so that this lines up a little better. But basically, that's it. It's in there. It's ready to go. This is my battery, which you can see is a lithium iron phosphate battery, 96 volts, 100 amp hours, so 9.6 kilowatt hours. Small, but should get us hopefully 50 miles or so of range in this little sucker. So that's there. Oh, and I have my garage door. This is still my old garage door. This is a BHOnofre SV with Tasmota. It's one of the oldest ones I have. In fact, I think it's still called Test. I never changed the name to Garage or anything like that. So it's still called Test. That's all out here. Let's go see what else is going on inside. It is quite a mess down here. Just be warned. All right, inside this switch box here, I've had several different switches here. I really have. I've had a single channel BHOnofre T1. When actually it was the BHOnofre Touch. It was the original Touch before they started calling it the T1 and the T whatever they're on now, TX or whatever. But that wasn't working so well, so I took that out. Then it was a BHOnofre Basic I had in there, which also wasn't working so well. But what's been in here now and what's been working pretty well is the BHOnofre Mini. So this is the BHOnofre Mini in this switch, and it's controlling all these lights you see up here. We can go look in the mechanical room. There's a couple new things here to look at. This, this is my heated floor controller. I guess you'd call it a thermostat. It's my thermostat. It's got 7 relays on a D1 Mini, and the D1 Mini is running ESP Home, and then each of these relays is connected to a zone for the heated floors in the house. And the information about which zone gets turned on, it looks like zone number 2 is running right now. Zone number 2 is the front room. So the information about what temperature is what in which room is done by those Xiaomi Zigbee battery-powered temperature sensors for most of it. Some of them are hardwired, but there's 2 temperature sensors down here and 2 zones down here. There's a zone in the piano room when in the entry when we first came in. There's a zone in the master bedroom. There's a temperature sensor. That temperature sensor from the bathroom, from the BHOnofre in the bathroom, is what's controlling the temperature for that zone, for that part of the house. And then upstairs, we've got a temperature sensor in my office, a temperature sensor in the playroom up there, the toy room way up high, and those are the ones that are running the 2 zones up there. All right, here we go. This is my, for one, my water softener level sensor, which is just an ultrasonic sensor pointing down. These are my connected alarm boards, which the double-sided tape doesn't stick very well. These wires pull too hard on it. I have a Google router point in here as well. We've got a switch. We've got the modem from the cable company, and then all this freaking disaster because they ran coax cable all through the house and Ethernet all through the house, but they didn't finish them. So I've got some that I've traced and labeled, but most of them, they're just ending in just this down here. So I don't know where most of these go. And obviously most of them aren't connected to anything. So the potential's there to have some wired devices instead of all wireless devices, because those, you know, we got cabling all throughout the house and it all comes to this one single point. So I could do something with all of that, but I haven't yet. Guest bedrooms over there, if anybody ever comes to stay with us. In here, we have another one of the really old BHOnofre Basics. This is a BHOnofre Basic with a touch module, and it's been working like a charm. I haven't had to do anything to it for a long, long time. And the kids come down here and use it all the time, and it holds up to their use, so that's saying a lot. Another Amazon Echo Dot. I need to replace these lights here with something smart, something that dims and something that's colorful. I've got some of those semi-smart downlights that have RGBW in them, and that's what I'd like to put up there someday. Again, someday. This is where sort of our media center is. You know, we kind of have a projector and stuff. So this is where, if we're going to watch a movie all together, or it's mostly the kids watching shows, or sometimes I'll watch a sports down here. But there's why my Volumio Pi is not working, because somebody unplugged it. So that green box is what's running the Volumio Pi, and it's connected to that speaker system right there with the blue light. And that's got, it can take several inputs and it goes out to all the speakers, but it's really not very modern and doesn't work very well, unfortunately. One of many things that need replacing. Somebody unplugged the Wi-Fi router down here. That's awesome. This is the window opener. So when I turn on my quiet cool fan, this is the linear actuator that opens this window down here in the basement so we get some nice cool air to float up through the house. And that hole in the ceiling is what happens if you leave a hose connected to your faucet outside and it freezes. Yeah. It freezes and breaks pipes, and then you got to replace them. So camera up there, another blink camera, which again I don't use. That one up there though, that's a Ethernet camera. So that one actually does get a good view of this room down here. Here's the other temperature sensor, the Xiaomi temperature sensor. This room really needs a smart switch because that's where one of the kids at least is always taking a shower and leaving the light and the fan on. Here's the this is the game room. That's the Dungeons and Dragons room. That's it down here. Okay, upstairs. Okay, we're in the office now, and there's a lot of things going on here. This is some stupid wire. Used to be a shelf here, and now it's the wire to the lock up here, and I haven't found a better way to hide it. Blemishes and all, right? Here's another HA switch plate that I use all the time to turn off everything in the office. Temperature sensor, motion sensor. This is a BHOnofre 3-channel switch plus an extra button for the lock. So when I push that button, that magnetic lock is not going anywhere. Okay. We got another night over here. Tribute to a good friend. Lots of green screen for the whole wall. Whole lot of parts. Parts and parts and parts and parts and parts. Parts and parts and parts and parts and parts. Everywhere. All kinds of stuff. If you wonder why I can't find anything during the stream, there you go. And if that's not enough, I've got trays of parts here and trays of parts here. These are the lights I just took out of the Christmas tree. This is what we had for our Christmas tree lights this year in the tree. This is the motor controller for the Bug. Those are boxes of stickers. This actually right here is the charger for the Bug. That's a 96 volt, 110 to 96 volt charger. So that can plug into the wall and then charge the battery in the Bug. Robot vacuum that never goes anywhere. That's funny to me. And then here's where the magic happens as far as video production for the most part. This is where I stream from. This is where I make my regular videos from. I spend a lot of time in this chair. That helmet I made in high school metal shop class. That is my favorite textbook of all times. Standard textbook of electricity. I have a luchador mask as well, thanks to a good buddy. This is the machine that's running Blue Iris. And Blue Iris took a dump on me. I hit the update button and it self-destructed. The dragon from our Maker Faire a couple years ago, or I guess it was a year and a half or so ago. Projector that we used to put Santa Claus in the window. Microphone, this is my Blue Yeti microphone. That's why my voice sounds so suave. In here, more parts. More and more and more parts. So tons of extra switches and wires and lights and who knows what all through here. This is my Cricut vinyl cutter. This is my turtleneck, the green screen turtleneck that made the floating head a thing. This is my 3D printer, Taz 5. It's pushing 4 years old now, I think. This thing's been around a while. Still holding up. Needs a little TLC, but still gets the job done. This is my main PC. One of the best things I did was put this on the other side of the wall so that none of the heat from here gets to me in there. So it gets pretty toasty in here, but I'm nice and cool. That's a fridge full of snacks and drinks, Dr. Pepper and chocolate of all kinds. This is my nook. This is where Home Assistant runs for me. This is my Combi 2 Zigbee stick. Yeah, generally a lot of stuff. Well, there's the Huckleberry. Someday that thing will get running again. This is the Sentry gun, this big Nerf gun hooked up to a couple of motors and a big 3D printed bracket and such. Someday I'll get that going. That's actually a spot welder for batteries too. I do have a bunch of things to make rechargeable lithium batteries in here too. Yeah, got a lot of stuff in here. Too much. Down here, this is the matrix that we made. I do have another parts bin here that I keep things that I'm working on currently in these close-up parts bins. Here's that BHOnofre camera I just did a video about. This is the webcam video. So when I'm taking video of something that's on the desk, I do it with this, and it comes into my computers through OBS, Streamlabs OBS. This is my stream deck. So when somebody subscribes and we get the guys dancing around and stuff, that's on this screen here. And then when the kids pick a winner, they hit the drum roll there. There's my Google Home screen. Oh, and then here's another HA switch plate. So that's it. And then there's a bunch of stuff here on the desk. My application for Chinese visa. Here's a bunch of letters, a bunch of sticker envelopes with stamps on them, or with names on them, and they don't have stamps yet. A couple cameras there, my magic cube. So that's the house tour. 50,000 subscribers. That's halfway to a silver play button. Did not ever think that would be something I could do just by making videos about little projects and things that I'm figuring out and playing with myself. So thanks for being a part of it. That's all for now. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, adios. If you need help or want to chat with me or others who also enjoy projects like this, you can find us on Facebook and Discord. If you like what I'm doing and you want to support me, you can use my special product links in the video description, or head over to Patreon, or just like and share my videos. That's easy. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, this box will take you to a playlist of some of my favorites. In addition to videos like this, I also do live streams every Sunday. This box will take you to a recording of the latest live stream. That's all for now. Adios.